What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Letsi Letolo back for another episode of the Bias Reporter, and we are recapping the game between Kaizer Chiefs and Kabuscorp. First and foremost, let's salute to the players. Let's salute to the players because everybody put in a part. When I said in my last preview, Guti, we need to play as a team. We can't win this game playing as individuals. And what happened? That's exactly what happened. Looking at the starting lineup, we had Peterson in goal, reliable Peterson. We had Cross on the left back, Miguel next to him, Kunika next to him in the centre back roles. On the right back, we had Solomons. The two defensive midfielders, we had Ngobo and we had Mtatwa. On the right wing, we had Lilepo. Chabalala playing as the number 10, Modi on the left with Dupree up top. And I got to tell you guys, what a performance. I was very impressed by the team's performance in this game. There were so many positives coming from this game. There were so many positives, and in a nutshell, you could say we should have been leading 4-0. We should have buried this game in the first half 4-0. We did not take our chances. We did ultimately win via penalties, but I want to talk about specific players in this game. Let's start with Peterson. Peterson, he didn't have too much to do in this game, but when he did have to do something, he came through. I remember there was a shot taken by one of their players that he had to sort of nudge over the post. Peterson, I like him because he's vocal. If he doesn't like something in the defense or in the team, he speaks. I don't like quiet keepers. Speak, tell players, hey, do this, do that. I did not like this, I did not like that. That's what I like about Peterson. Cross had a decent game. He even had a chance to score in the first half. Unfortunately, it went over the bar. He claimed it was a corner, but I think he should have done better with that situation. The two centre-backs were the two centre-backs. I think Kunika stepped up a little bit. Solomons was almost man of the match for me. Almost. It was between him, Ngobo, and Lilepo, but we'll talk about that later, innit? Solomons had a good game, bursting up and down the right flank. He even had a shot on goal. It was his shot, actually, after beating a man in the midfield. I was like, who the hell is this guy? Beating a man in the midfield. I think it went through his legs. He takes a shot. The goalkeeper parries it, not out, but back into play. And Lilepo beating the offside trap. Shot across the keeper. Laduma, as we used to say. So I think Solomons had a brilliant game. Where does Solomons come from? Where has he been all our lives? I think Solomons, if he can maintain this performance, he should be playing every game for us. He should be playing every game for us because I think he's head and shoulders above Frosler. Frosler, I'm sorry, my guy. This guy, his performance against Kabuscorp, hey, it was second to none as a right back, right? Ngobo, passer my passer. Hey, distributor my distributor. Yeah, we've been needing this. We've been needing a midfielder who can pass the ball beyond, here, just take it. Here, just take it. We need to be dynamic in our midfield in terms of our passing range, and Ngobo seems to be the guy. You could argue that he's small and maybe big midfielders will shove him off the ball, but I like his passing range. I think he had a brilliant game, and we need to give him an applause for that. Mtatwa, I'm always on Mtatwa's case. I think Mtatwa raised the bar this game. I think the way he protected the defense, I think it was brilliant. He was a proper destroyer, and even him he had some dynamic range in his passing. He wasn't just passing the guy next to him and playing it safe. I loved it. Now, before I go further, you can argue that Kabuscorp in this game, they were not their normal selves. They were playing for a draw. They were playing so that they can get to penalties. They were not as attacking as they were in the first leg. But hey, that's got nothing to do with us. They chose that strategy and we capitalized. Like I say, right? I think Lilepo was also instrumental on that right wing. He kept bombarding the right wing. Look, I think we played so well in this game in terms of our interplay. I mentioned before, Guti, when somebody's got the ball in our team, we don't see enough movement amongst other players. And I told you that the best teams, there's always movement. If somebody leaves a position, somebody needs to fill it up. There always needs to be opportunities for the ball to be passed to somebody. And I think in this game we did brilliantly, especially on the right wing. You see that opportunity where Lilepo beat his man on the left wing. in the box. He cut inside and he gave it to Chabalala. That's what I want to see more of Lilepo do. because oftentimes he'll want to shoot when he's not supposed to shoot, pass when he's not supposed to shoot, no decision making. I like the fact that he trapped the ball, he looked up, and he gave it to Shabalala, who should have scored, by the way. Shabalala, I think, should have scored 2 goals. But what Lelepo did in that game was brilliant. Him and Solomons on that right wing was great. Shabalala, like I say, he had a decent game. He should have scored 2 goals, Jellasdown. He should have scored two goals. Modi needs to take a look at himself moving forward. Modi needs to take a look at himself in terms of contribution. Because what we want from flankers, we want you to either beat a man, number 1. Beat your man. Somehow get in a cross, an effective cross. Get in an assist. Get an assist, right? And number 4, have some interchangeable play. Get some 1-2-1-2 with your fellow teammates. Modi needs to do more of that moving forward. Otherwise, it's going to be a liability, and we can't have liabilities in this team. We cannot have liabilities in this team. Dupree, I don't remember too much of Dupree doing a lot. And as a result, who's this guy? De Silva came on in the second half. That play on the left flank for De Silva to have his chance was brilliant. De Silva eventually got the ball, beat his man, and I don't know if many people noticed this. De Silva could have actually given the ball, passed the ball to Lelepo to finish. He chose not to. He chose to take the shot. I think it was a tame shot. Keeper saved it. And it was one of those opportunities that we should have buried. First half, this was Chiefs' game. Chiefs played brilliantly well, and I want them to play like this moving forward. I know the games in the PSL won't be as easy as this game here, because there's a lot of teams that are well organized. What we need to be is well organized. We need to do whatever we did in this game. We played as a team. The interchangeable play was brilliant. The individual play was brilliant. Everything was good. It was just the finishes that we didn't get to convert, right? And Gaston Serino came on. I've been saying to you guys, Guti, this guy, he's short of confidence these days. I don't know if it's a private matter with a family. I don't know what he needs to bring his game up, because we know he's a magician, right? Some people were saying, no, maybe he should have started the game. I don't know. I don't know if I'll start Serino. I think it's better. I think in this particular game, it was good for him to come on as a sub, because after his last recent games, I don't think he would have been ready. And I'm also happy that Serino, but before I get there, look, second half, Chiefs were not as good in the second half as they were in the first. There was a lot of stop-start, free kick, stop-start in the second half, which slowed down the game. And as a result, we didn't have as many opportunities. And so eventually the game ends up 1-1 on aggregate, and it went to penalties. The Chiefs players came through. The Chiefs players did what they had to do. Nobody missed the penalty. Shout out to Peterson for saving a penalty, and shout out to Aden McCarthy for scoring his penalty and taking us to the next round. Thank you so much. It would have been a very bad day for me. Let me tell you guys why. Manchester United lost. Pirates won. Sundowns won. Imagine if Chiefs lost as well. It would have been a sad day. And first of all, shout out to the team that beat Sekhukhune United, because those guys are on another level. I think it's Polokwane City who beat them 1-0. I know it's off the record, but it's all affiliated in it. It all comes together. Sekhukhune needs to be slowed down. Sundowns need to be slowed down. But in terms of this game against Kabuscorp, I was very impressed. And I think there's a lot of positives that we can take into the next games, into the PSL. If players, and another thing, too many times we have 1 or 2 players playing well and other players not playing well enough. I think in this game, a lot of people rose to the occasion. Now, if we were to speak about who's the man of the match, that's going to be a tough one. I think for me, it edges towards Lelepo. What he did on the right wing, beating the offside trap, how he played with Solomons on the right. He got us our only goal. I think the man of the match goes to Lelepo. You guys can tell me what you guys think in the comments. Tell me what you guys think about how we played. Do you think we can keep playing like this in the PSL? Do you think Serino should have started? Do you think Modi should start on the bench? What do you think? What do you guys think about this overall? And look, I was impressed, and I'm happy that we won. I had my doubts, but fortunately, two things happened. Things came together for us, and Kabuscorp chose a strategy whereby they laid low, and things worked in our favor. So we're off to the next level. Hopefully, we'll do well in the coming stages. I've been Letsi Litsolo. You're watching the Bias Reporter. Have a nice day. Salute.